Okay, so we are going to do our last lesson in our acute triangle unit. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about congruent triangles. So there's three different types of congruencies. So we can have side, side, side congruence, meaning if all three sides of a triangle are equal, then they're congruent. And if you're wondering what does congruent mean actually before we really get started, it just means triangles that have the same side length and angles. That's what congruent means. They have the same side length and the same angles. They're pretty much exactly the same. So notice how that's different than similar triangles, which you would have done in the grade 9 curriculum. So congruent triangles, super simple. It just means they're exactly the same. They could be orientated different, meaning one triangle could be like flipped or reversed, but the angles and the side length should match up. All right, moving back to our three types of congruency. So the second one would be angle, side, angle. So if two pairs of corresponding angles and the contained sides are equal, so meaning we have two angles and the side in between those two angles, if they are equal, that means that the triangles are congruent. And then the last one would be side, angle, side. So again, if we have two sides that are equal and the angle in between those two sides is also equal, that means that the triangles are congruent. So for the pair of triangles, state if it's possible to determine if the triangles are congruent. So right away, yes. And the reason they're congruent, right, is we see that angle, side, angle. So angle, side, angle. So they are congruent. And then over here, I would say no, because we just have three angles. So we don't know if they're congruent, because you could have similar triangles that have all the same angles, but maybe they're not congruent. We don't know if the sides are the same. Okay, moving on. So it says complete each congruent statement for each pair of triangles. So over here, angle Q, and this little symbol with the like wavy line and the two equal sign underneath, that means congruent. So angle Q, which angle would it be congruent to in the other triangle? So we can see right here it's angle U. And do you notice how we're using just like one little loop here while the other angles have either 2 or 3? So angle Q is congruent or equal to angle U. Then we'll do the next one. So this means side AB. So that line over top means side AB. So side AB is going to be congruent with side ED. Those are going to be equal. Moving forward, side HI, so here's HI, is going to be congruent with EF. Those are equal. Oh, and I guess I should put the little line over top. And then lastly, angle X, there's angle X, do you see the 3 loops, is going to be congruent with angle P. All right, indicate the corresponding sides and angles for each congruent statement. So here we have triangle XYZ, so it's asking us to list all the angles that are congruent. So I'm going to actually use like the loops to help me. So I know X is going to be congruent with K. So I'm going to write angle X. Well, I don't know why I wrote it like that. Let me try that again. Angle X equals angle K. And then we know J, this time I'm going to use 2 loops, is congruent with Z. So angle J is congruent with angle Z. And then finally, Y, and I'll use 3 loops this time, is congruent with L. So I'm going to have angle Y equals angle L. Okay, so now from here I can do my congruent sides. So I know XY, do you see how it has the 1 angle and then the 3 looped angle is congruent with KL. So I'm going to go side XY is congruent And I've just been writing equal, but you could use the congruent symbol too. Either is fine, with side LK. There we go. And then we have XZ is going to be congruent with JK. So XZ equals JK. And then finally, ZY is congruent with LJ. So angle ZY equals angle LJ. There we go. Let's move on to our next one. So here I'm going to start with my angles. So I know U obviously is going to be congruent with T. And actually with this, because we have kind of some attached angles here, I'm actually going to have to use different notation. So I'm going to go angle RTS equals angle. So RTS is that angle, is SUR. You could also go RUS, either one. It's the same thing. Okay, let's try our next one. I'm just going to erase kind of this line here that I drew. Now this is where it gets a little trickier. So angle R is actually congruent over here with angle S. So we're going to call that TRS is equal to angle USR. So those are going to be congruent. You could also think to yourself back to earlier lessons. Do you see how if you extended your lines, those are equal because they're alternate interior angles? And then lastly, I might actually use red here. This angle right here, we'll call it URS, is going to be congruent with this angle here. Again, they're alternate interior angles. So angle URS equals angle RST. Perfect. Okay, and if you put TSR, that's the same thing, right? Okay, now let's do our side lengths. So I have RU is going to be congruent with TS. So those are going to be equal. Angle RU equals, or not angle, sorry, I don't know why I put an angle sign. Side length RU is equal to side length TS. Side length RT is equal to US. So side length RT equals side length US. And then finally, angle RS is just the same as RS, right? It's actually not angles, side length, they're the exact same thing. So side length RS is the same on both triangles because it's sharing the same side. So obviously they're going to be equal because it's the same line. All right. Example 4. So it says R angle triangle ATZ and triangle DHM congruent. And then it gives you some equal sides and some equal angles. So draw a picture. So we have A, T, Z. And then let's draw our other triangle, D, H, M. Okay. So it's saying side length AT is equal to side length DH. So those are equal. And then side length TZ is equal to HM. So I'm going to use 2 slashes. Those are equal. And then it's saying angle ATZ, which would be right here, is equal to DHM. So given this information, are they congruent? So again, go back to that very first slide that we talked about. So we have congruence with side, side, side congruence, angle, side, angle, as well as side, angle, side. So in this case, we can see we have side, angle, side. So we have 2 sides and that contained angle. So we know, yes, they are congruent because of side, angle, side. Okay, this next picture, I'm just going to change this because right now it does not match your notes. This should actually be 8 and this should be 12, just so it matches your notes. Okay, and then, yeah. All right, so it says in the diagram, These are congruent, meaning all the sides are the same. Determine the measure of each of the following. So we know the 47 degrees is going to be congruent with which angle? So I can kind of see if this is 8 centimeters, this is definitely 8 centimeters. I'm going to write that in. So that means the congruent angle would be right here. So 47 degrees would be right here. So that is angle BED, or B, yeah, good. We see a triangle, 90 degrees, so we can find the third angle by going 180 minus 90 minus 47, and that gives me 43 degrees. So this angle right here is 43 degrees, which is congruent with angle D, 43 degrees. Okay. And now I'm actually, you know what? I'm just going to start answering this. So angle ACB would be ACB. So that would be the 43 degrees. Angle BDE. So that would be BDE. So the one in the middle, 43 degrees again. Side BE. So that would be this side right here. We already determined is 8 centimeters. And then lastly, side EC. Oh, this is a trickier one. So if you look, we know all the way from B to C, because it's congruent, would be 12. So if it's 8 centimeters from B to E, E to C would have to be 4 centimeters in order to total to that 12, right? So right here, I'm going to put 4 centimeters. All right, try some of these textbook questions so that you really understand what congruency means.